everyone, and welcome back to another episode. And today I'm super excited to share with you these animals you see rolling around in the back here, or playfully in their own, known as the Cape fur seals, commonly found in our waters here. And it's beautiful to watch these animals. Unfortunately, with the Cape fur seals, yes, they're one of the few marine mammals, the numbers are increasing, but that doesn't mean that they're not at risk. So what we find is that due to their playfulness and curious behavior, they're often found close to people, as in they come to the harbour here, they're close interactions onto the platforms, and the problem with that is that these is often polluted waters, and the pollution in the water and these interactions with these animals can impact them hugely, as it can also be potentially deadly to seals. We have 3 staff members who are dedicated to looking after the seals, and over the last few years they've created this incredible platform behind me that you see. It's an opportunity to get closer to the seals, for tourists to walk by and just get a nice photo of them, a close-up of them. Remember, these are wild seals. And also an opportunity to, if we find any entanglements with the seals, the staff can sneak underneath these platforms and wedge their hands in between and then actually cut the entanglement of the seal. So let's have a closer look at what it's like from the early hours of the morning at the waterfront to the afternoon, and just to show you what it's like the day in the life of a seal and a member of the Two Oceans Aquarium.
My name is Brett Glasby, and I'm the Marine Wildlife Management Program Coordinator for the V&A Waterfront and the Two Oceans Aquarium Education Foundation. I often get asked why I am in the industry of rescuing wild animals. It's a very interesting question, and I must say that I have been doing this for 25 years and my enthusiasm has never wavered. I absolutely love what I do, and I believe that each one of us as humans have a responsibility to caretake our wildlife and caretake our animals. I believe that every single creature on this planet was put here for a reason. Every animal has a purpose, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal. Every animal is here for a reason, and I believe that man is no different, and our role is to be the caretakers of the planet and caretakers of our wildlife. And we need to do that. So I've taken that as my life's mission, to fulfill that role and be a warrior for wildlife. Whether it's rescuing a snake out of a home, or an entangled seal, or a whale that has stranded on a beach, I'll always make my time and my presence available for wildlife.
My name's Claire and I work at the Two Oceans Aquarium. I started wanting to disentangle seals because of seeing them right outside the aquarium day after day, and the cuts getting worse and worse, and no animal should die that way. It's a very long and painful death, and there's absolutely no way they're going to get that entanglement off if somebody doesn't try and help them.
I'm Vincent Calder, and I've been at this aquarium for almost 27 years. I'm the specialist technician, and my main role nowadays is to mentor staff. The most important thing that I suppose that I do is I like to go and look out for the seals, which I really enjoy. They always present with entanglements around their necks, and at one stage I used to do a lot of that. Why I do this, I just, to see a seal animal suffering like that, it's actually terrible. You know, when you look through sometimes you have to see them from a distance, so you use a pair of binoculars. And some mornings I've looked at some of the wounds on these animals where the pus is running down, and you actually look at it and you get quite queasy, and you think about the pain that poor animal is going through. And some of those deep wounds or cuts, the fishing line's very deep, so it's quite difficult to get it. You might find somewhere on its neck there's a place where you can cut it with a cutter. And so if you're under the jetties and you try to get him into the right position, and you've tried day after day, and eventually you manage to do it and cut it off, and you get such a lovely feeling because you realize that you've now taken away that pain.
Just before sunrise every day, I do a daily patrol of the seal population. This is the best time for me to record what our population is correctly, as it's just before they go off hunting for the day. Within the V&A Waterfront, there are a few safe areas where seals are quite comfortable and able to be able to sleep and rest without any interruption. These seal platforms are provided to the seals as a safe space for them to rest, whereas the areas on the jetties are an area that we do not want them on. So whilst they're on the jetties, they can cause damage to the yachts. They also pose a danger to biting people that are working on the yachts or around the yachts. So our goal is to rather chase them off the jetties or move them off the jetties and allow them to rest as much as possible on these safe spaces. So over time, the seals get to know which areas are provided for them and which areas are not safe for them. One of our primary roles within the program is the disentanglement of seals that come in from the open ocean with plastic or other items entangled around their necks and chests.
Probably around about 2007, Claire and myself noticed that there were a lot of seals with entanglements on them. We used to meet the sea fisheries chaps who used to come down to the harbour to cut the entanglements off their necks. As you can see, these are the bags of entanglements that we've got. You can see the different types of entanglements. Rope, lots of fishing line, box bands are the worst. Box bands are the bands that they tie the cardboard boxes up with. They need to be cut before you throw them in the dump, and they get onto a seal and they cut terribly into the neck, especially when the seal grows bigger. This was the cutter we started with. You can have a look at it here. See, it's quite a big thing, very heavy to use and so on. And then we turned to these smaller cutters, which I made up, and those have been working very well.
Vince and I know every little spot where the seals like to hang out, all their favourite places, so we go around the harbour and check that they're all okay. What we're specifically looking for are seals that have got entanglements around them. So that would be either fishing line or rope or box bands or raffia cord. In the event that we find a seal that is entangled, we'll do our best to try and get it off. When you finally manage to get one of those entanglements off, it is one of the most rewarding feelings ever. Once you've chased an animal for like weeks and weeks and you see the cut getting deeper and then you manage to cut it off, and the next day you see the same animal and the wound's already healing and the seal looks so much happier, it makes it all worthwhile. Seals are very wary of people coming anywhere near them. So if you have an entangled seal at the end of the jetty, it's very difficult to creep up on it because it can jump in the water so easily. So Vince and I came up with this method where we swim underneath the jetty, and that way we can get right up to the seal that's entangled. And then Vince made us a cutter that fits through the little gap between the jetty, so that we can actually cut the entanglement off without the seal even waking up. And that method has actually worked incredibly well over the years, and there's no stress to us and there's no stress to the animal whatsoever.
Dry dock right now. We've got about 20 odd seals that we're trying to move from here that made their way in, and we're going to tag them, release them. We've got a big bunch of volunteers here. You can see them in the back. Quite dangerous because these are wild seals and Cape Coast seals, and we'll see how the day goes.
In order to rescue these seals, we are required obviously to get them out of the dry dock and back into the harbour where there's water and safety for them. We decided that we would be utilising a crane to lift them out, but before we could do this we had to capture each seal individually. At that time we measured them, we took a DNA sample, we took an approximate weight and we tagged them. This is all for future research that could be used by the Department of Environmental Affairs or the Two Oceans Aquarium Education Foundation. This process can be quite dangerous as you are handling a wild animal, so we have to be very aware of that at all times. We also don't want to put the stress levels of the seals too high. So each seal needed to be captured by hand, held in a net, weighed, measured, and then they would be put into a grain bag and lifted by crane onto the harbour wall. From there, they would then be released back into the water. So on the first day that we undertook the rescue, we managed to capture 13 of the seals, 13 out of the 28. And those seals were all tagged and sampled and then released. On day 2, when we arrived, 5 of the 15 remaining seals had already started making their own way out of the dry dock by climbing the stairs and were ready to just be led to the water. We did this quite successfully and then opted, instead of capturing the remaining 10, to rather split them into two groups of 5 and walk them up the stairs. That process took probably about half an hour. It was a lot quicker and less stressful than the capturing method. and is now one of our preferred methods for getting seals out of the dry dock.
Next time on Ulwandle Stories.